Hi, this is Surya from UCS. So we have seen in terms of the Salesforce administration many topics we have covered, right? So in today's session we are going to explain or discuss about the queues. We already covered the a topic called groups, public groups. If you remember, I have explained you about the public groups, right? So what we have been seen over there in the public groups. It is, I guess, in terms of a 40th um, session, I guess. Yes. In terms of 40 session, if you revise that, so there I have explained you about the public groups. So there we have seen we are combining the group of users into one unit. Okay, so that unit we are calling as group. That group we are making availability for publicly. That is we are calling as public group, right? So on extension but on the particular use case, so do one question here on the public groups. So do they have any ownership on the particular records they are having? Only they can view the records, they can access the records, but they'll not take the ownership of the record. Okay, so if by chance, how you can is there any possible way to build a group, and the particular group also need to have the particular users. Okay, all the users need to have the ownership, they can also take the ownership. So like that, we do we have any concept inside the Salesforce? Yes, we have the concept of queues. So this queues will is the topic we can use to go furtherly to work on the particular use case. It will give you an option to go with the bunch of users at a time. Okay, so Salesforce is providing to us that such kind of functionality. I'll also show you that how you can go furtherly to create the different users, and how you can assign even groups also inside a small queue. Okay, I'll show you, and how come they can take the ownership of the records also I'll show you. Okay, so let's go into the topic, let's dive into the topic. You got some introduction of the particular topic. You let's also see the what is queues inside the Salesforce organization. So here in terms of queues, collection of users who can own and work on the records. Okay, but in terms of the public groups, they can only work on the records, they can only see the records, but they cannot own the records. Okay, but here in the queues they can own the records. Okay, instead of assigning a record to one user, if you are going to the building a unit on combination of different users, we can call it as a queue. If you are assigning it to the queue, then you will be getting a access to the particular record with the all users single step, with the single step. Okay, so remembers of that queue can view the record, can take the ownership, can work on it, anything can be possible if the user is inside the queue. Okay, so queue represents that it is a collection of users. Okay, similar to the groups, public groups, but here in the queues you can provide the access, you can provide the ownership. Okay, on extension to the public groups. Okay, now in terms of why we are using the queues inside the Salesforce organization, that also you just need to know, right? So let me explain that as well, there you can understand more clearly on about to the queues. Okay, just 1 second. So queues are used to distribute the workload, first point. So any particular work is there, it is taking 10 hours of time. Okay, now the particular persons, or any if the particular 10 hours of time, any Salesforce administrator assigned to one specific queue, automatically on the queue 10 members are there, each one of them can take 1 hour of time. Automatically they can take the ownership. Okay, those who are acting as an owner, they can only work on the particular record. That is a key main point. Now thus that particular person, first user, have pick up the case, have pick up the particular work, and 1 hour he have been given the progress, and after that he have sent the particular ownership to the second user. Accordingly second user can work on that, and they can share the particular access. So like that you can complete each one of them investing only 1 hour of time on the particular work, but 10 hours of work is going to be completed. That is the work distribution or workload distribution. Okay. So if you are talking, if you are going inside in terms of the centralizing the unassigned work or managing the high volume support. Okay. So route leads or cases properly, so improve the response time. This is about the completely about the queues. Okay. So queues can act, we can call it as a, like in terms of queues can act as a temporary owners to the distributed workload. Okay. So there are any group of people will be there inside the queue, but any one of them can take the ownership temporarily on the particular record. They can work on that, they can assign to other user as in terms of ownership. Okay. And if you are going with the public groups are used to define the collections of users for sharing the records and granting the access, but they do not have the control, or they cannot have the ownership of the record. Okay. So that is the process, that is a problem with the public groups. So for giving the solution on the public groups, we are involving the Salesforce introducing the queues topic. Okay. So that is the importance of queues here. So if you observe the particularly in terms of having the why we are going to use the queues, you got the requirement, right? So in terms of the objects, so objects that supports the queues, standard objects that supports the queues. What are the objects are there? Lead object, case object, some custom objects, not only on the particular thing, only the custom object, few custom objects, and the knowledge object in some scenarios, and service appointment in some setups. Okay. So the important point here is not all the objects will support the queues by default. Okay. So you also need to check, as we already seen in terms of the macros. So not all the macros will support the particular macros concept. So similarly we have seen that, and in terms of the queues also same. Okay. So we generally majority of use cases where we will get in terms of the cases or in terms of leads, so there we need to provide the ownership. Okay. Then only they can, for example, on service on support agent. Okay. Some, for example, let's take the TV manufacturing company. They have make the sales. Okay. Sales also completed, everything also went very well. And after that what you have done, so now the particular company which they have been sold out, so they also need to take the responsibility on providing the support also, right? So for example, 1 lakh customers bought the TVs. Now among the around 5,000 customers are facing small issue, so they wanted to revert back in terms of contacting the support team or support agent. So for example, if all the tickets are coming to the Salesforce, where it will store on the case object, as I already told you, right, while explaining about the case object, all the different complaints will store on the case object. Now users, those who are the users, who are the responsible persons to work on the particular case object, or who are acting as a support agents, they need to take the ownership of the specific case, and they need to resolve the particular case, right? This is the process. So similarly, that particular case, once it is being created, it just need to assign to the particular queue. Once it is allocated to the particular queue, that represents any one user from the particular queue, they can take the ownership of the particular case, they can initiate the case, and they can they can solve the particular case also. Okay, that is a particular process we will generally usually follow in terms of the projects. Okay, so as you are in the learning phase, that is the reason you may not know, that is the reason I am explaining all these use cases, where we are using the queues, where we are using the case, where we are using the lead object, okay, where we are using the public groups, everything I wanted to say, because of you need to know from the real world point of view, real project point of view, real client dealing point of view. Okay, you also need to know such kind of functionalities. Then if you are knowing that, automatically while any question from the interviewer, you will answer the question in by in terms of experience candidates can do. Okay, so that is the main point from my end. I wanted to give all the information, plus you also need to get the knowledge in terms of clear in the interviews. Okay, so the important point here is not all the objects will support the queues by defaultly. So the real example scenarios, like in terms of scenario 1, lead assignment, new leads from the website go to the web leads queues, and sales representatives can take the ownership from the queue, as I have explained this particular use case clearly. So similarly you can go for that. And the second scenario, if you are going with the second scenario, if you wanted to deal with the case support, okay, so there you can find out the new case go to level 1 support queue. Agents pick the particular cases accordingly, so they can take the ownership of the particular case, and they can work on the particular case, they can resolve the case but on the from the particular user. This is the daily work on the particular persons. Okay, so how queues work, step by step process. So once the record is created, and that record is being assigned to the specific queue, all queue members can see it, and any one member from the queue can click on the accept and change the ownership of the particular record. So now the particular member from the queue or particular user from the queue can act as a owner of the record. Record ownership changes to the particular user likewise. Okay, so let's discuss the small differences between the queues versus public groups, as these two concepts are storing multiple users in that particular queues and public groups also. But what is the difference? But here in terms of queues, we are storing the all the multiple users both in the queues and in the public group, but record ownership can be taken by the users those who are existing inside the queues. But in terms of public group users, they cannot have the right to make the ownership. Okay, but if you observe, then how can they see the particular records? Using through the sharing rules, we can share the particular records to the particular users inside the public group. That particular option is possible inside the public group, but that is not possible inside the queue. Sharing rules will not work on the queues. Okay, and used for the assignment rules. So on the queues you can see the assignment rules, but in terms of public groups you will not able to see the assignment rules. Okay, now holds the record. In terms of the queue can hold the record, but public group will not hold the record. Okay, so this is the process. Queue is record owner, it is providing the record ownership. Public groups providing the sharing mechanism. Okay, so this is the two functionalities you just need to know here. Okay, now how to create a queue. If you wanted to create a queue, you just need to follow the particular path. So you just need to go to the setup first. From that you just need to type you just need to search for the queues from the code quick find box on the setup page. After searching for the queues, so you will find out the new button. On clicking on that, you will find out the steps. What are the steps? Enter the label, add the supported object, add the queue members, assign the emails, and save that. Okay, so let me repeat the process. After going to the new queue, you will find out the label, give the label name, and add the supported object. On which object, like in terms of lead object or case object or any custom object you wanted to provide, on which object you wanted to create a queue. Okay, so based on that you can go for that, and after that you just need to assign who are the users need to be stored inside the particular queue. Okay, so like that you can make the members. I'll also show you not only the users, you can also go for the particular roles, you can also go for the public groups also, you can also assign them inside the public queues. Okay, that is possible. And here in terms of the assigning the email, that is optional one. Okay, so after assigning the users, you can click on save. The queue will save. The queue members can be the users or roles, or the roles are subordinates or the public groups, whoever, they can act as a queue members. Okay, this allows the flexible assignment of any record, and they can also take the ownership of the particular records. Here in terms of a queue email, you can configure queue email address. When a record is being assigned, email notifications sent to the queue email. It is used for the shared support mailbox. Okay. Queue assignment methods. Records can be assigned to queues via manual assignment rules, flows, epics, omni-channel. Okay, so here in terms of the lead assignment rules and queues, lead assignment rule can automatically assign the leads to queue based on the criteria. The example is, if the country is equal to India, assign to India sales queue. Case assignment rule and queue. So the case assignment rule routes case based on the product priority region. For example, if the particular field like priority is meeting value as high, then assign that particular assign to the escalation queue. Okay, so like that you also need to know about the assignment rules also. I will explain you about the assignment rules also, there you can understand what is the assignment rules. Okay, now in terms of queues and flows, so here inside the flows you can set the owner id that represents queue id. Okay, once you are taking the ownership of the particular record, that represents the one that consists one id that will be equal to the queue id. Okay, so now in terms of the useful for automated routings and escalations and SLA breachings. Okay, all these functionalities you will also find out inside the queues. So queues and omni-channel in Service Cloud, if you are going with the queues work with the omni-channel. The process is, record enters queue and omni routes to the available agent. Agent accept the work. Okay, so this is used in the call centers. And here in terms of the queues versus role hierarchy, so let's take the feature by feature. So for assignment, for visibility, for record ownership, okay, everything we can go for that. And the queues, so from there, the for assignment you can go for that, but in terms of role hierarchy, assignment we will not do the assignments on the role hierarchies. And in terms of visibility, it is available for the role hierarchy, but in terms of queues it is limited. And for the ownership of the record, it can be went or go through the queues, but not in the role hierarchy. Role hierarchy is about the visibility, queue is about the work distribution. Got it? So you just need to know the small abbreviations, small definitions. So if you are storing that, automatically you can remember that the queue is distributing the workload. Okay. And role hierarchy is about the visibility. Okay. So like that you can work on the particular use case. And queues and sharing models, if the OWD is private, as we already seen what is OWD. OWD is nothing but organization wide defaults. It is a record level restriction you can provide in terms of by using the OWD concept inside the Salesforce organization. Okay. Now queue members can see the queue owned records. Now if the record owned by a queue, only queue members have the access unless it is going to be shared with the particular persons. Okay. So that particular use case also you just need to know what is the sharing models, what is the queues. Okay. So here on the OWD is private. If the OWD is private, queue members can see the queued or queue owned records, right? Like whichever the particular records they are owning, they can only accessible by the users inside the queues, because OWD is private. Okay. Not all the records, or all the records which is not owning, they can also not see by the users inside the queues. Okay. That is about the OWD. Now the second use case, if the record owned by the queue, then only queue members can have the access. Okay. That is a process you also need to know on the particular use case. Now the custom object and queues. To enable queues for custom objects, you just need to go for the specific object and click on edit, and check the allow in the queue. Okay. So there you will find out the if it is supporting the queues, so then it will show you that to enabling the queues for the custom objects. Okay. So then you can add the object to the specific queue. And queue ownership, when a queue owns record, owner field shows, and queue names, and when user take ownership, owner become a user. Okay. So queue monitoring, now admins can monitor the particular queue in terms of what are the records are there inside the particular queue which got assigned to the queues. Second one, what is the backlog size, and what is the aging records. Okay. As you are the Salesforce system administrator, you just need to take the responsibility and you need to monitor the queues regularly. Okay. It is important for the SLA tracking, and it is best practice for the queue design. Create queues by the function level 1, level 2. So okay. Now avoid the too many small queues. There is no need to have the too many small queues. You can, rather than going for the 10 small queues, build the two big queues are more than enough. Okay. And here in terms of the using name convention is a mandatory one, it is a best practice, and you combine the with the assignment rules. So automatically it will if it is create the case, assignment rule will take the responsibility to assign the specific queues with the specific cases. Okay. You got the requirement, right? And monitoring the queue load. So what kind of best practices are existing on the system, you also need to know. In terms of not only on the queues point of view, you also need to know about the from the assignment rules point of view also. I'll also explain you about the assignment rule, what is the assignment rule, and how you can if any case is being created. Let us assume on the support team, if any case is being created on the for the support team, with the help of assignment rule, that particular case will assign to the respective queues. Why it is so? Because we are using the that particular assignment rules. Okay, that is the advantage of having the assignment rules inside the on an extension to the queues. Okay, so there we can use that, and I'll also show you, I'll also explain you about the assignment rules, where and how you can use that, and where you can use that, everything I'll also explain you about that. Okay, and you also need to monitor the queue load. What is the queue strength, like in terms of how many users are there on the particular queue, and you also need to monitor that also. And naming convention, I'm saying that in terms of multiple times, if you wanted to go for the on which object you if you wanted to create, as we already seen in terms of previous sessions, name convention is the most important point here in terms of the if you are going on which object if you want to tries to implement, so that particular object you can start underscore whatever the name you wanted to provide, in terms of if you want to segregate that particular cases, only the uh, who is users resolving the cases, so there you can provide that to the particular queue. So then you can name it as case underscore support team or support agents, or if the particular process it is involved in the sales process, then you can go for the lead underscore sales team or sales agents. Okay, like that you can also segregate with the help of country level also, the lead in underscore India underscore sales team, and lead US underscore sales team, and lead underscore UK underscore sales team. Like that you can segregate with the country to country also, you can prepare if your organization is multinational company. Okay, now clear and structured if you are going to use. So the common mistakes, so usually sometimes they can face, so try you know not focus, you do not try to do any mistakes. Okay, so I'll explain you. So what are the mistakes generally will face from the queues? So not adding the correct members to the particular queue, or forgetting the queues email setups, and creating too many queues, and not testing the assignment rules, and confusing with the public groups. Okay, so like this you can also go for the particular mistakes. So try to note these mistakes, try do not repeat these particular mistakes on your use case. Okay, and real project architecture example, the enterprise setup. So in the new case, from that case assignment rule, from that you will go for the queues. Okay, so here the queues case has been created, then that it will assigned to the queues with the help of assignment rules. Okay, so here the queues plus omni available agent, and if SLA breach from the flows and from the escalation queues. So this is the real world enterprise design we will have on the queues concept. Queues and experience cloud. For a customer portal, the new case is been created by the portal user. It should be assigned to the respective queue team, and after that internal agents will pick up and respond to the particular issue. It is very common in the architecture. Okay, try to remember this use case. I have already explained you about this particular use case already. Okay, so this is the process you will need to follow. And queues and escalation rules, the escalation rules can reassign a case to different queues. Example, if case is open for 2 days, move to the escalation queue. Okay, and queue limitations here, not available for all the objects It is only specific objects can support the queues, cannot apply the complex routing logic alone, and cannot auto distribute without the omni. Okay, so queues are alone are basic routing. Security considerations: if the record is owned by the queue, access controlled by queue membership, sharing rules, OWD, extension for organization wide defaults, always test the visibility. Okay, so the interview questions: what is a queue? Difference between the public group and queue. How do you assign the records to queue? Can custom objects use the queues? How does queues work with the omni-channel? Can queues send emails to the email notifications? All these use cases you just need to explore, and I'm also covering those topics. So if you grab that, it is good. If you do not grabbing that, you also need to explore the questions, because if you are getting the question and answers, then only you can understand the concept very clearly. Okay, and enterprise level strategy, so design approach, so defining the routing strategy, create logic queues, use the assignment rules, integrate with the omni, monitor and optimize. Queues are foundation of service operations. Okay, so the final summary, let's recap what we have discussed about the queues. Queues are nothing but we are distributing the workload to the multiple users inside the queues. It can also providing an option to make the to get the ownership of the records inside the queues. Work with the assignment rules. I'll explain you in the next session about the assignment rules. And integrate with the omni and critical in the service cloud. Okay, so this is completely about the queues. So let's go to the practically how you can create the queues. Let me show to you. So for that, what we just need to do, we just need to initially open the setup page first. So clicking on gear icon, clicking on the setup. So here you just need to type, you just need to search for the queues. Okay, now let's type queues. Okay, under the users you will able to find out the queues. Now if you observe the queues, let me maximize if it is not showing to you. So here the queues allow the group of users to manage to share workload more efficiently or effectively. A queue is a location where records can be routed to wait processing by a group of members or group of users. The records remain in the queues until any one of the user will accept the respective user to make the ownership for processing, or they are transferred to another queue. That option is also available. You can specify the set of objects that are supported by each queue, as well as the set of users that are allowed to retrieve the records from the queue. Okay, so as of now there is no records in the system. So for creation purpose we just need to use this new button. Clicking on new from the queues. So you just need to give the what kind of queues you wanted to give. For example, I wanted to create the support team. So on which object you wanted to create? On the case object underscore support underscore agents. Okay, this is the queue name. And here, if you wanted to, whenever the particular record is being assigned to the particular queue, each and every user need to get the email. If you are feeling so, you can check this particular button, send the email to members. Okay, and queue email also you can provide, and you can also go for the queue description and the configuration with the omni channel routings, and what is the objects you wanted to support in terms of this particular queue. As of now we want only the case object. On the case object I wanted to showcase this particular queue. Okay, and the queue members, if you wanted to showcase to the other objects also, it is possible to provide that. Okay, not only on the case object, you can also go for the lead object, and the two are enough. Okay, let's go with the two different objects. Now who are the queue members you wanted to assign on the particular queue? Okay, queue is there, that is a one big room. Let us assume queue is nothing but a big room. On that big room, if you observe in the schools or colleges, so you will find out the 10th class, 9th class, or first year, second year. On the particular rooms they will allocate only the first year candidates are, will be seen on there, and only the second year students will be seen on the specific allocated room, right? So like that how they are allocating. So similarly you can also go for the queues, as we can consider as a room, queue as a room, and there you can find out the multiple users inside that. Not only the users, if you observe here, to add the members in the queue, let me maximize this. Select a type of member, then choose the group and role and the or the user. Group or role or user, anything is possible. You cannot go only the user, or you cannot go only the role. You can also go for the any one of this. Okay, either group, either role, either user. From the available members to the move them to the selected members, then whoever the members we can see on the selected members, that represents they are available on the particular queue. Okay, so if the particular members are available on the available members, so it does not mean that they are available on the queue. Okay, so we just need to move them to the selected members. So if the sharing model for all the objects in the queue is public read write transfer. Okay, so you do not need to assign the users to the queues. So all the users already have an access to the records for those objects which we have been assigned to them. Okay, for example, it is showing like there are five users are there on the system. Okay, because it is showing only users because I have selected as a users. Let's change with the roles. So it is showing like role wise. Okay, let's minimize. Now I wanted to filter it out by the roles and internal subordinates. You can find them. Okay, if you wanted to go with the public groups also, I have created the two different groups. Okay, so there you can also assign them to different groups over there. I have, if you remember, I have created these two groups on the 40th episode or 40th season, 40th session. I have discussed about the public groups over there. Okay, so like this you can also go for that. Let me open the users. As of now, let us assign Arul and Surya J. Here on the particular on the queue, I have assigned two different users. Okay, now clicking on save. Now queue is being created now. Okay, so this is the process you can create the queues. Okay, I'll show you how you can assign the particular records to the queues on the assignment rule topic. Okay, so as of now, let's move to the lead object or case object. Okay, anything you can go for that. And here this particular use case, if you wanted to go on the case object on the support application, let's move to the service. If any cases is been registered over here, let's open any one of the case. Okay, now if you observe this particular use case, so here in terms of the particular use case, you will find out the ownership of the case is being assigned with the org farm epic, right? Now if I wanted to if I'm feeling that I wanted to share to the particular person who is not a user anymore, I wanted to share this particular case with the queue. Okay, now I will select the queue. Now I will get the queues list. If it is there in the particular system, it will I will get the case list. Okay, so what kind of case you are getting here in terms of the Salesforce? Is it been activated at is it been show, if it is like it is showing directly, you will get the list over here. Okay, yeah, we got case support agents. Okay, we got that particular case. And if you wanted to send the mail notification also to the particular persons, how many of members are there inside the queue, so they will receive the mail that this particular case is been assigned to the particular person or queue. Okay, so let's change the ownership of this particular case. Okay, now from the particular user's point of view, so they can see this particular case, they can access this. Okay, why? Because they can have the they are the like Arul and Surya are the particular persons have assigned to the case support agents queue. That is the reason they can have the access. Okay, so they can directly view that record, they can also work on the particular object. As I am the system administrator, so I can see this case, and I can also do the small changes. If I wanted to change anything here, I can do, because I am the system administrator. If I log in through the particular person's particular person's logins, okay, so there also I can see the particular use cases. If I want to go for the Salesforce login, so let's open the Salesforce login and give the, I guess this is the, hope I remember the password or not. Let me try to give the password. Yeah, I remember the password. So hope you remember, I have created one specific thing on the Salesforce. So I have created the user separately. If you observe, I can see the one separate thing case. I can see here on the Arul's account. Okay, so I have created one user account for the Arul. So by using his credentials, I have logged into the Salesforce organization. Okay, so now I can access this particular case. So what is the case here? If you want to see, you can also see this particular thing, and from here you can assign the particular case. From the, you can directly give the assign the Arul. You can directly change the ownership. So the if the Arul is, if I am the Arul, I just need to change the ownership, because I am the I represented to the particular case object, particular queue. That is the reason I am getting the this particular case here. Okay, so now I wanted to change the ownership of that, and now I wanted to start communicating with this, and I will start working on here. Okay, so like this I will start the communication, and I will ask that what kind of issues you are facing. and what is the process. So I will touch with this the case, and I will provide the solution to the particular person. Okay, so the comments also you can track over here. As of now there is no comments as of now in this process, so you can also track the activities and activity history, everything you can track. Okay, this is completely about the queues. So you got it right. So like that you can go for the respective options here inside the Salesforce organization. Okay, so if you wanted to track remaining cases also, you can track whatever the cases he is having the access. Okay, so he can whichever the records he is having the access, he can see. Okay, so all these cases he can access because he is having the permission to see the particular records. Why he is having the access? I have granted the Salesforce standard user um, profile to the Arul. That is the reason he can access. Okay, so like that, based on the particular access also, the objects and records also restrict. Okay, so like that you just need to work on the particular process. Got it right? So like that I just need to, from the Arul's point of view, I'm logging out. Okay, now closing this. If you refresh this, it will also, I guess it will also log out. Yeah, because we tried with the logging inside the Salesforce with the Arul's, right? So that is the reason it will also change accordingly to the from administrator to Arul's account. Okay, that is a process you will also find out over there. So you got the requirement right. So if I refresh this page, automatically this will also went out. Okay, so here you just need to check each and every functionalities. So if you refresh this particular owner will showcase as Arul here. Okay, so let me refresh and log in again. Okay, let me log inside the organization. Let me open the case. So if you observe, the case owner is being changed to Arul. Why it is so? Because the particular user is having the access. Why particular person is having the access? Because I have, as a system administrator, I have assigned the case owner to the particular queue. Only the persons or only the members or only the users who is existing on the specific queue, they can only change the ownership, not all the others. I can change, but as I'm the system administrator, I can change. But as I have changed that ownership by the Arul's point of view, I have logged inside the our Salesforce organization by providing the Arul's credentials. Username and password is belongs to the Arul. That is the reason I logged into the their credentials and their organization I have logged in, and I have changed from his point of view. He can change because he is belongs to the particular queue. So that means he can take the ownership. Got it right? So that is about the queues topic inside the Salesforce organization. So if you wanted to explore more differences in terms of the queues and the public groups, you can also work for that. So the mainly queues are working on the work distribution purpose. The purpose is quite simple: holding the records that need to be worked on the entire team. Okay, and ownership is also, you can take the queue itself owns the record until a member take the ownership. Okay, so I have shown you right. So initially it is showing as particular queue it is having, and it is assigned to the case ownership, but I have went through the Arul's account and I have assigned the ownership of the case to the Arul. Okay, so like that also you can assign that. And after that, it is a functionality wise supports automatic assignment rules and the best for the supported queues, and lead assignments, and managing the workloads, everything you can see there. But in terms of public groups, the it is mainly useful inside the visibility and access point of view. Okay, the purpose is quite simple: group users and roles and territories to simplify the sharing data, and ownership cannot be possible inside the public groups, and functionality wise used in the sharing rules and folder access and sharing records. Okay, It is best for the granting visibility to set of users. Okay, so that is possible inside the public groups. So like that, you just need to understand what are the differences between those two concepts. But here we also having the some similarities on these two concepts, like in terms of public groups and queues. So what are the similarities? Both can contain the individual users, individual roles, and other groups also contains. And the second point here is, both queues and public groups facilitate collaboration among them, among the team members. Okay, so like that, you just need to understand when to use, what to use the queue when multiple people need to work on on a single task, and one person need to claim as I am the person, I'm taking the responsibility, so I just wanted to take the ownership of the record. So then you can go for the queues and use the group public groups when you wanted to, or when you need to give a specific team access to the view and edit a set of records. So then you can go for the public groups. Okay, this is completely about the queues and public groups, as we have already seen about the completely on the public groups on the 40th season or session. Now in terms of queues, we also seen what is the queues, how you can create that, and how you can get the access to change that. So try to create 3 or 4 users in your system. So then after that, you can create one queue and assign all the users to the queue. And one user need to be not in the queue, so try to see the particular his point of view, like who is not in the queue. So try to log in with his credentials, and try to log in inside the Salesforce in by having the queues access. Okay, so like that, try to change, try to check that. So case will assign to the particular queue member, they can only access because the that is assigned to the queue, not to the users. Okay, so now the particular outside of the queue, who is having the user, he will not able to see the particular record or case, until unless if he is having the public access, he can access that. Okay, got it right? So this is the process you will need to identify on the process. Okay, so as of now, I'm wrapping up this call. We will meet in the next session with the new topic. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.